All right, let's see YouTube go live in 3, 2, 1. What's up, guys? Studfit here, joined by Antlev for another episode of the Rundown. We missed you last time, Antlev. How you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. It's good to be back. Good to be back in the autumn tour with all of these nice cities.
Good, man. It's been a busy week. I was in DC, just drove back just in time to be able to record this before you go to bed late in Amsterdam time. So I did get to play around a little bit with the tour, but I remember it from last year. It was a lot of cities and a lot of New York and a lot of these cities that we've seen many, many times, it seems, this year. Much more than I thought we would be seeing when thinking like how much we'd be getting city action. But we got Blazing Eagles, blazing return after dominating this past year. So we got a lot to get into, but I just wanted to again, thank you for helping us out, Antlev. Doing the episode by myself, it just wasn't the same. I have a few other people to thank, including the Stud fam, specifically Larry98 and Alberto did a phenomenal job to get this to you on the day of the tour. This is, I think, the first time that we've recorded a Wednesday tour rundown episode together. So absolutely monster job to Larry98 and Alberto for clearing out their schedule here on Wednesday to get this out as soon as possible. I think Larry had his out early this morning, and the rest was done by Alberto, who has become a volunteer. He was a paid position. So huge kudos to Alberto and everything he's done to be able to bring this to you guys in a timely manner, and also allows us to be able to keep this thing going. So appreciate everyone here in the Stud fam. Thank you for those who are watching. I know this is kind of a surprise stream, but we want to get this to you as soon as possible. We didn't want to wait, any longer. Noticed Sammy, he spent some time with his family today. So hopefully this information is coming to you when you're salivating all day long. So just a huge special thanks to everyone on the screen, including the Super Studs, Frenzy Fans, Frenzy Grind, Chris Clark, Larry98, Issa, Nat, Jeeves, and Guanlin Zhao. Also, for those watching who are hanging out with us in the stream, huge shout out to Nick Kyril Zarin. I see Johnson Yang. I see E. Deedle. Shout out Rita. As you guys are joining, let us know that you're hanging out live with us. Again, I know this is kind of a surprise stream, but we got a lot to get into. We had a tight window here for us to hang out together between Amsterdam time and here in the United States. So without further ado, we'll get into the daily spotlight shop. We haven't been spending too much time here. I think what's important is just kind of noting some of the top items in the game, whether they're in the top 10 or some of the items that will be featured a lot over the next the remaining of year 5. But there's some good items in here. Obviously, we have some of the items that came out in this tour. We have some of the really nice options that are in ranked. Obviously, I think for anyone here who is getting ready, this is the Eagles. This is the tour last year where Blazing Eagle, Swift Talon, and Gold Eagle was introduced. So let's get into the buffs though. There's since the anniversary, this is now year 5. And so when we were referring to anything that's going to happen between now and the anniversary next year, that was what we're referring to year 5. So if you're just tuning in for the very first time, welcome. But I also want to make sure that we don't skim over some of the grammatics and some of the inside terms that we use, kind of inside jokes and everything else. So I want to get you guys caught up to speed. But there is one part of the rundown that continues into year 5, and that is the buffs. Now, we're getting less and less buffs because there's less and less new items, and these tours have all been out. So, items that have been out for over a year, no longer seeing buffs. And slowly, that list is diminishing and diminishing. There are... I'd say we're not starting to see the decrease quite yet. I mean, we were at like 500 or so going into the anniversary. Now we're probably in the 300 or so range. Eventually we'll dwindle down to maybe 100 here in like 6 months. So it'll be interesting to see how it goes. But there are, starting with drivers, as we like to do, there are 5 drivers who got 3 buffs. And as you notice, there's some times where we had 5 buffs, 4 buffs, 3 buffs. Is as good as it's going to get here for the drivers. But Mario, Black Suit, obviously, this is a city tour, so we have a lot of city buffs, and so I think that we do see cities a little differently. We kind of have seen them as gravy on top, but these are tracks that surprisingly come back pretty often. So I do think it's important for us to note which ones they get. But again, it's LA, New York stuff, it's Vancouver, so it's going to be kind of tough to be able to just kind of visually see which kind of tracks they got. But right off the bat, Mario Black Suit, not a plus skill driver, one that you probably should not be investing in, or at least I wouldn't recommend it. But there are 3 plus skill drivers here with 3 buffs, including Poochie, who got New York Minute 3R, New York Minute 4, and then New York Minute 4 RT. You also have Wiggler Gold, who got New York Minute 2, New York Minute 4, and then New York Minute 4R. And then Wiggler got 2 Vancouvers, including the regular NT, and then Los Angeles RT. So kind of a little different buffing between Gold Wiggler and regular Wiggler, which is kind of a nice surprise there. So Antilev, as we go through all of these buffs, what are the buffs that people really want, if any? And then also, as we're kind of articulating, New York Minute 2 versus New York Minute 4, which buffs are actually important ones to get, and is there any way that helps you remember which New York Minutes are which ones?
Yeah, so I think the main thing is that we want to just focus on what's in ranked and what is getting buffed in the ranked tracks this week. I think a lot of these cities, we will see them come back for ACR here and there. Notably, I remember this tour from last time. New York Minute 1N is not there, and New York Minute 2R are not there. For whatever reason, they skipped it. And they also, here, I can pull up the data real quick. They doubled a couple of the other tracks. I'm not really sure why they did that, but there's a few tracks in here that are in there twice. Twilight House, of course, and New York Minute B, the 2 battle tracks are in the tour twice, but New York Minute 1R and New York Minute 2T are also in there twice, along with Vancouver Velocity 3RT, which was a new one when this tour was a new tour, or was a new track when this tour came on the first time. So that one you would expect, but for whatever reason, New York Minute R is in there twice, New York Minute 2T is in there twice, New York Minute 1N is been skipped, and New York Minute 2R has been skipped as well. So there's a bit of a strange thing there. So any of those double tracks will help you doubly. On ACR, of course, you want to get the rank tracks, and then the next thing that we're mainly looking at is what tracks what items got buffed on tracks that are in this tour and are not in ranked in this tour but are in ranked in futures tour. We have 3 tracks that are in this tour that are in ranked in futures tours. Unfortunately, they didn't really get any buffs. I'm sorry, my spreadsheets are kind of bugging out at the moment. I think we have New York Minute 3T. Sorry, it's going to take a while because my web browser is using too much memory. Anyways, the long story short is there's 3 tracks in this tour that are in future ranks. Only one of them got 1 buff. It's the Monarch Kart. So all of the buffs, aside from the ranked buffs in this tour, are going to be for ACR purposes only. So that being said, I think we can kind of treat everything sort of equally, and it's really going to be buffs from an ACR perspective going forward. That being said, as you said before, we are definitely viewing cities as higher weight now. Cities came back a lot more often this year. They're definitely not an afterthought anymore. So then we're also going to focus on items that have a lot of city coverage, or a lot of tracks in general, including city coverage. So something like, for example, I think the most notable example is the Swift Talon. So it has something like 50 tracks, but 23, I think, or 27 of those are 27 are city and 23 non-city, or vice versa, something like that. So in the old top 10 rankings, didn't really get much love because it was so city heavy, but now it's definitely something you would really consider investing in. I think it's used actually 12 times in ACR this tour, and the Blazing Eagle used 13 times. I think what's also interesting about this tour is that because this is an all-city tour, and we hadn't had a lot of all-city tours to this point, I think just the anniversaries, and maybe 1 or 2 others. We were, I think a lot of people, especially me, I'm pretty conservative with my investments. We were very sort of hesitant to go all in on a lot of these new items. And the items that came out with this tour last year have turned out to be some of the greatest items in the game. We're talking about Yellow Misu, we're talking about Swift Town, we're talking about, possibly the best card of 2022, the Blazing Eagle, or 2022, 2023 maybe. And the nice thing about loop mode is that, I didn't invest in any of these initially because I was too scared away by their all city start. And they turned out great. So, now I can invest in them and not regret it. So I definitely took, Blazing Eagle, I was very, very late to the party, but this tour, I took it up to level 8. I triple capped it, and yeah, and now I can do that with no regrets because I don't have to guess whether it's gonna get good buffs or not. I already know what tracks it has.
That's a good point. That's a good point. Just for looking at the chat, congratulations to Crazy for his top 10 run. I know we in the server we've been rooting him along, so congratulations, Crazy. Had to give you the shout out there. Going forward, I will say every tour that we get new buffs, one of the drivers everyone's looking at is Gold Mario. To see how he returned, or what kind of tracks he's getting. He got LA Laps 3 RT and then the New York Minute 3 RT. Obviously, it's I think you could have wished for a little bit more, as neither one of these tracks are in ranked. But how do you feel like his those tracks specifically? I mean, compared to the other drivers on the tracks, and what kind of grade would you give Gold Mario's buffs here?
Yeah, it's kind of tricky. I think there was one of his tracks where he got a buff. Let me pull it up real quick and check the.
While you're doing that, I'll cover Yalin and Spartacon. So Yalin got LA Laps R and LA Laps RT. DK Gladiator, aka Spartacon, got the New York Minute 4R and New York Minute 4T, which makes a lot of sense because Donkey Kong, New York City. That's kind of dates us, but that's kind of where it all started for him. And then Toad Astronaut got the Vancouver Velocity 3RT, which is in ranked. So probably the best buff on this whole entire slide, at least for Toad Astronaut. Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer did get the Vancouver 3RT. And then really, I mean, no one else with a plus skill got a ranked track. So overall, I mean, you got Toad Astronaut getting that Vancouver Velocity 3RT. I will say, for what it's worth, that Vancouver Velocity 3RT, there's a couple options.
Drivers, yeah.
You got Giant Banana. You got 3 different options, and you got a Lucky 7 and a Boomerang. So no coin box.
Boomerangs, actually, because you have Full and Dome as well.
Yeah. So you have 2 non-plus skill Boomerangs, which could to potentially outpace some of the Mii's, but I think Wiggler Mii is going to be, it's the only Mii plus skill driver on that track. So if you can use him, he's going to be, and I think that's kind of the way that they do it is, every tour they give us like 1 plus skill Mii in ranked. It's never the same one, it's always like, sure. just a random. So unless you invested in all of them, it's hard, it's going to be hit or miss, but that's going to be the best option for you probably on that track if you are into the Mii's. But everyone else, like, that's a great buff for Toad Astronaut, who's continuing his phenomenal 2023. And then moving forward to the drivers with 2 buffs. Not a lot of plus skill Mii's except for Wiggler Mii, which we kind of just referred to, that Vancouver Velocity 3RT. And then we got Morton's on there. He got 2 New York Minutes, but neither one of them are in ranked. And then you got some super action. One to make note of is Yellow Yoshi. Got the ranked track LA Laps T. And it's the only super that's in ranked. Then moving forward to hit the last drivers with buffs. These are drivers with 1 buff. So you got Gold Luigi Knight, got New York Minute 4. Kitsune Luigi got LA Laps T, which is in ranked. And then a lot of drivers got 1 buff. That's kind of the way that they did. Just kind of look at which ones are in ranked. You got Lemmy, you got Spike, you got Brown. But again, no plus skill Mii's, no plus skill drivers, got just 1 buff being ranked. So hopefully, they got the buff last year, and you're using those drivers for ranked. And then, I think looking at the supers, you do have the Cooper free running, getting the LA Laps T, which is kind of cool. So there you go. Ansel, anything else you want to mention about the drivers with buffs?
Yeah, well, I mean, just talking about Gold Mario's tracks, got 2 RT tracks. So we're talking about the overlap there. No, on New York Minute 3 RT, it's a bit of an older track as well, so no plus skill Mii's he shares with us, so that's all right. And the only Coinbox driver on that track is Hakama, which a lot of people don't have invested. Other plus skills he overlaps with there is Pink Shy Guy Ninja, so that's maybe a little bit worrying because I think I would rather use him than Blue Shy Guy Explorer, but otherwise it's not necessarily a very easy one to cover. The other one, Los Angeles Labs 3RT, there's a couple of Coinbox drivers there. There is King Mario and Gold Charging Chuck, so a lot of people have those. There's Ninja Shy Guy, the original, the Boomerang one, Pauline Cowgirl,
Yali,
Donkey Kong Gladiator, and Wiggler. So I would say this is not necessarily a decent buff for King Mario because there's a lot of plus skills on this top shelf. Oh, and Mario Sunshine has it as well. So one, which is like, relatively, but I don't know if New York Minute 3RT actually comes back in loop mode. So I'd be honest, I've been pretty underwhelmed with Gold Mario on the whole. Like he is in ranked, it's not a buff because he already saw this track, but a Vancouver Velocity 3 in the first week, and actually there's not a lot of good options there. I think the only other plus skills there are Larry Wintertime, Luigi Knight with the boomerang, and then the Lucky Seven Misut, Silver Misut. So if you don't have any of those three invested, he'll be good for you on Vancouver Velocity 3. That's not a buff, that's a track you already had.
I like it, man. Yeah, those buffs that's what you're gonna have to ride out here. It doesn't seem like a lot of these favorite items got these tracks for ranked, but that's okay.
Like it's sorry to interrupt you, but it's really hard to invest in Gold Mario for me because the main advantage of gambling on a new driver was the high likelihood and the high chance that item, that driver or Kart Glide or whatever would get buffs on brand new tracks, that's the way Nintendo always did it. The fact that we don't have that, I think robs like a huge part of the value of these newer drivers because it's like, okay, well I can invest in him and gamble on him and like maybe he'll get the buffs I want, or I could just invest in something older that I already know has great coverage. Yeah. And I'm not worried about it not getting buffed to new tracks because there's no new tracks coming back. So that is a little bit, and I've invested in a couple of the 4th Anniversary Tour items, like the Royal Flush Glider and the Monarch card in my free play account. But yeah, I mean, looking at it from an analytical perspective, there's not a lot of upside, I would say, investing in those like more recent items, just because I think older items are a bit more safe now.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. New items, the hope that you could hit a nice little lottery ticket has gone away. A bird in the hand is worth more than two in the bush, is like what we like to say. So with that being said, I have to give a shout out before we move to cards to Kareem. Shout out to my rundown lads. Good to see you both as always. Still loving my Mario Kart Tour info. Thank you very much for the dono, Kareem. Appreciate that, sir. And then shout out to Snuffles as well. And then Draco 655, member for 19 months. Forgot that I got that. Thanks, Kareem. Awesome. Well, good. Let's get into cards. Again, huge shout out to Kareem. We love Kareem. Kareem's killed it as well. I think he also went for top 10, I believe, as well. So congratulations if you did, Kareem. I saw you getting pretty close to that 3 million, which is pretty crazy. Cool. Moving to cards, we got the Monarch cart. Nothing in ranked. Did get 2 LA tracks, which is kind of cool. Again, smaller carts, but it looks phenomenal. Then you have a couple of carts with 3 buffs, including Gold Cupid Zero, Gold Pipes, Desert Rose Wagon, Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve, the Black B-Dasher Mark II, a personal favorite of mine. Go Steelers, and then the Boot Pipes. And then, unfortunately, though, out of all of these, the only one that got a ranked track from what it looks like is the Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve, which I've seen some people get a little frisky with it and invest in it early. That's the only, out of the cards that got 4 buffs and 3 buffs, it's the only one that got a ranked buff there on Vancouver Velocity 3RT, which is not a hard track to cover for carts. It's a really tough one to cover for gliders, though. So again, you probably have something else as an option on that track, but nice to see the Chocolate Mint Soft Swerve get a nice 3 buffs, 1 in ranked. Moving forward to carts with 2 buffs, you got the Dolphin Drifter Chain Chomp Chariot. The Chain Chomp Chariot got the LA Labs T, which is a great track for it. Nothing for Jumbo Jetter, Black Shield Speedster, Rainbow Taxi, Tycho Drum in the way of ranked. But the Yellow Sub Scooter did get the LA Labs T, which is nice to see a new item like that get the track. Pineapple One, a smaller hitbox, did get the LA Labs T, which seems to be kind of a favorite buff here for the carts. And then the Blooper Shuttle, which again, former #1 cart in the game, got the LA Labs T. So you're probably covered on LA Labs T, along with Cream Classic too. Don't want to forget that. So most likely you have some good options there for LA Labs T. You shouldn't need to go out of your way to cover that. And then for the rest, there are some other carts that got 2 buffs, including the Spicy Zucchini, got LA Labs T. Again, a popular ranked buff there, and that's gonna be it for the carts with 2 buffs. I mean, everything else is just nice little fun ACR gravy. For carts, we've got 1 buff. You got Silver Warrior Wagon, Red Comet, neither one in ranked. You did get the Pink Comet, got the LA Laps T. Again, that super popular track. That one's tough to see so many of my favorite karts all overlapped on that track.
Yeah.
Gold Show Speedster also got LA Labs T, the ranked track there. And then that looks like it's it for all the karts in ranked. It's just basically LA Labs T, and it's hopefully
Not a lot of ranked buffs.
What's your thoughts on karts?
Yeah, so the only thing I really wanted to mention is going back to the beginning, that Monarch card got 4 tracks, no ranked buffs. But it did get Los Angeles Labs 3, which is in ranked in a future tour. However, it's in the summer tour, which is like one of the last tours. Like, it wasn't that long ago. It was right before the Sunday tour. So I think it was the one after Squeaky Clean Sprint. And the one before the Sunday and Icy tour. So but that is the one future ranked buff we saw this tour. So Monarch Kart picking that up. And the rest, yeah, like you see that they are not crowding some of these ranked tracks more than they need to. So it's, I'm taking this as a sign to look at my coverage and inventory now and not wait and hope for future buffs to make investments. I'm making my plan based on the current thing. Oh, and I also wanted to mention, I hope you don't mind me dropping this in now, I created a new version of the inventory tracker that lets you focus only on future ranked tracks. So basically, instead of looking at the tour tracks for the given tour, you look at all the future ranked tracks, including the meet boosts, and you can make a plan on, hey, where do I have week coverage for the ranked tracks in the upcoming year, and what items can I invest in that will give me the most ranked coverage now that we know that ranked are going to be. It's like super useful. I'll drop a link in the chat at some point.
Okay.
Well, I'll just do it now anyways, but definitely check that out. I put it on blast in the resources channel of the ACR bot server as well, but awesome. I'll drop it here as well because it's been pretty useful for me for making investments in things which I didn't expect to be actually that good, but turned out to be pretty good.
Yeah, definitely drop it in our server as well. Yeah, you make a good point. I think like if you're going for ranked, I would probably not rely on any new items. It doesn't seem like they're bringing new items into the ranked circuit. They're just kind of letting and they probably had thought about this last year when they were, brought back these tracks. They probably kind of filled up what they felt like was a pretty substantial group of items. And then that's probably kind of how they want to keep it to a certain extent. And maybe they're sprinkling, again, one buff here and there for all these items. But for ranked purposes, it does seem like they're trying to kind of keep things the same as last year, which is perfectly fine. But again, you don't want to, again, you kind of want to rely on what we know. And that's good information that you have there. And so appreciate you sharing that out. Cool. Also, congratulations to 11 months for Crazy. We will have Crazy and potentially also Aviquado to talk about their top 10 runs on Kart Talk next episode. So, and I'm also working with Alberto to get him on as well again. So should be a fun episode. I still enjoy doing Kart Talk. And I like hanging out with my friends, just chat about the game. Even if the game has changed, there's still some new achievements being made in the community. We want to celebrate those. Moving to gliders, there are a number of gliders with 3 buffs. Actually, this is quite shocking compared to drivers and karts. We got the Royal Flush to get 3 tracks. It does have the New York Minute T. Unfortunately, although it's a ranked track, it also has the 8-bit 1-up mushroom, and it's as much as I'd like to use this Royal Flush. Fortunately, it's kind of a cluttered top shelf, at least for my account. But hopefully, if you invested in it and you're a relatively new player, you're going to absolutely love using it on the New York Minute T. The pink bubble balloon also got the Vancouver Velocity 3 RT, which is great. The Mosaic Star Shoe got the LA Labs T. Luigi's Golf Cap, nothing in ranked, but 3 buffs there. Melon and Banana Balloons got the LA Labs T. Again, this LA Labs T, although the karts are all over the place, all these meta karts, the gliders are really tough. It's a bunch of new gliders on that track. And as you'll notice, also, the Dolphin Great Sale got that same LA Labs T. So these are, like, again, two gliders that you may not have had invested in, but you get some options. Alongside that, you got the Wiggler Parachute, also got LA Labs T. Spooky Sprinkle Balloons, although it was ghosted last tour, it did get the New York Minute T this tour. You gotta like.
Yeah, it's used I think twice in ranked in week 1. It was a nice one.
Yeah, considering it did not get as much Halloween love as we were expecting. It definitely got some autumn
Yeah, I
love
was
there.
surprised by that.
Rainbow
Yeah.
Bells did get the Vancouver Velocity 3 RT. So again, Glider is getting much more buffs compared to, it seems like, the at least from the three buff items than drivers and carts. Moving to gliders with two buffs. I'll kind of just skim down. We do have the pink checkered glider getting the Vancouver Velocity 3 RT. You do have the 8-bit gold 8-bit glider, got that same Vancouver Velocity 3 RT. And that's it, man. That's it for the gliders with two buffs for ranked. Again, it's kind of interesting to see how they kind of give some of the brand new items getting the LA Labs T, and then you have some of these other ones kind of getting the, especially for like the old school gliders when the game started for those day one players, you're getting some of these old school looking, 8-bit looking, checker looking things getting these New York minutes. And then finally, gliders with one buff. Not as many efficient ones, except for the absolutely lovely Fuzzy Kite. Got LA Labs T. You got to be loving that one, man. It's again a tough top shelf to get. And this Fuzzy Kite, as we already talked about, it's going to have a great year 5, and I've been eating crow ever since. So certainly you can ride that parade to the bank.
Absolutely no comment about Fuzzy Kite.
I think enough has been said on my end as well, but I still want to get a little fuzzy action, dress up. Again, it didn't work out this episode as I was literally sprinting back home to try to get this episode out for you guys and try to keep up with Larry 98 and Alberto. So glad we were able to get this out there. But Ansel, what's your thoughts on the gliders that got buffs?
I think you more or less covered it. Like I was looking for something here with, I think it's nice that the Royal Flush seems to be getting like some quality tracks, and a lot of these newer gliders are at least getting one ranked buff. Gravy Sail, Wavy Gravy Sail, rather, not so much, but a lot of the other, at least a lot of those gliders with 3 buffs, the newer ones at least getting one ranked. I think that's nice, whereas the carts and drivers wasn't so much the case. But other than that, I mean, there's not a whole lot to discuss here. Again, no buffs for gliders on future ranked tracks, which is very disappointing. But yeah, other than that, nothing else to say.
Thanks for taking a look at that. Also see in the chat, Draco dropped a Fuzzy Kite. I can almost visualize him saying that. And then here we have E. Deedle celebrating 27 months. Congratulations. Thank you, E. Deedle, for all your support over the last 27 months. Absolutely insane. Where did the time go? Happy to spend my late 30s with the Stud fam. Early max for the Fuzzy Kite has paid dividends. Absolutely love it, man. Yeah, the Fuzzy Kite is celebrating a great year 5. This is the year of the Fuzzy Kite. Ranked unlocks for the autumn tour. So for drivers, you got no driver options being unlocked there. I will say though, I'm sorry, my apologies. For drivers, carts, and gliders, you do have the looks like the yellow unlock for LA Labs 3T. Which I think just from looking at it, that's like the only other option. It's a great option though. It's a very might be a tough track for you to cover. I don't know, but for me, it's my best option on that track. For carts, you do have the Blazing Eagle, which is I don't want to spoil, but this Blazing Eagle is going to have a great tour. No surprise there. It does have
decent, yes.
It has a level 6 unlock there on the New York Minute T. You got this
if you're doubting it, go for it.
Yeah, hey, no, if you're on the fence, go Blazing Eagle, man. You will not regret it. I can promise you that. As compared to the Gold Eagle, probably not. You do have the Blue Speeder getting the level 8 unlock for Vancouver Velocity 3RT. Probably not an option you may want to pursue, but letting you know that it exists. And then the Holiday Speeder does have a level 6 unlock with Vancouver Velocity 3. The Gold Eagle, we just mentioned, has a level 6 unlock there for LA Labs 3T. And then for gliders, we have the Rainbow Wonderful Wings, as I like to call it there. Got the level 3 unlock there with New York Minute T, which actually might be plausible. Level 3 unlocks, much more plausible to, you might actually want to do that. It's a cool looking glider. Hasn't had quite as much love as we had hoped, but it does, if you want to use it for New York Minute T, that's a good one to know. You might have it at level 1 and not know it unlocks at level 3. And then you have a couple. A couple gliders on Vancouver Velocity 3, including the Royal Flush at level 6, and then the Rainbow Bells at level 3. So not bad options there for Vancouver Velocity 3. And then for the multiple used ranked items. For drivers, there's I think when you're looking at just like plus skills, Rosalina Swimwear stands out with 2. You got Pauline with 2 as well. Obviously, it's nice using her again. She hasn't been a popular one in ranked, but this is her tour. This is her time to shine. You also have the Yellow Me racing suit, used 2 times thanks to that level 3 unlock. For karts, Blazing Eagle using a blazed 4 times, which is absolutely insane. Thanks to that level 6 unlock. You do have a couple other items that I'm looking at it. Probably none of them have actually hit the meta, except for maybe the Swift Town, which is used twice. Some other items, I know some people went into the Cact B, that's used twice, and some of these sluggers. I'd probably just stay away from these sluggers. I mean, again, Blue Speeder used 3 times. That's a decent amount. But Blazing Eagle, this is if you really want to, especially for week 1 where we have driver tours or driver cap unlocks as rewards. Blazing Eagle is going to be the best option for you. I don't think you're going to regret that. And again, you're going to be able to really use it throughout year 5. For gliders, Fair Flyer used 4 times, Star Spangled Glider 3 times, and then a number of them used 2 times. Nothing really in much in the meta. You do have the gold flappy wings and the Royal Flush in there. The Spooky Sprinkles have been a favorite for some. But again, other than that, it's kind of some older items. So overall, though, what's your thoughts on ranked, Antilev?
It's a pretty easy rank to kind of knock out with some really good drivers. Yellow Me Racing Suit is definitely one people should be, if they're doubting about investing in it, because it is used so much in ranked in future tours. I can even actually tell you how many times it's used in ranked. I should have set this up first. But here, let's have a look at the Yellow Me Suit in ranked tours upcoming in the loot mode. Just 1 second. And Blazing Eagle used 4 times. Again, it's one of the this is the nice thing about this tour. You can invest for these city tracks, and you don't have to worry so much about, hey, is it going to become good or is it not going to become good? Okay, let's see. Yellow Me is used 16 times in ranked tracks in the loop mode. So if you upgrade it, you'll use it 16 times, and that's all different ranks from not every single tour, but like most tours, you're going to be using it at least 1 time. So 16 times in the coming, slightly less than a year is a lot. So if you're doubting on Yellow Me, invest in it now, you'll get some use out of it. Similar thing for like Blazing Eagle. Blue Speeder as well is a really kind of underrated one if you don't mind a smaller hitbox. Other than that, yeah, no. Like I said before, the Spooky Sprinkle being in there twice is really nice for like a sort of newer one. Other than that, yeah, not really a whole lot to talk about. I think it's nice to see some older drivers like Pauline and Rosalina Swimwear in there a couple of times.
Yeah. But, nice using our lovely ladies again. Now let's talk, move into All Cup rankings for this tour. Obviously, some old school guys like Mario Musician, Mario Baseball. Nice to see those guys come back, but you're probably not going to be using them, even though you could be using them 12 and 10 times, probably not worth it. You have a little surprise Fishbone Me Suit, used 9 times. Pauline, Yoshi Reindeer, and Donkey Kong SNES used 8 times in this tour for All Cup ranking. Then you have Party Time Pauline and Mario Sunshine kind of top some of the old school lovable top skill non-Mies. And then you also have Yaleen kind of joining the party. All 3 of those used 7 times. Those are some pretty good options. And then Spartacon used 7 times as well. Yellow Me Racing Suit also 7 times. So there you go. I would say that not a lot of Mies being used in All Cup ranking, which is kind of sad for players like myself. It looks like the one I'll be using the most is going to be Yellow with 7 times. So
I believe it or not, I have the light green Me Racing Suit at level 8.
Wow. Wow.
But let me ask you a question. What do you know what skill it has?
Banana barrels.
It is banana barrels.
I love it, man. By the way, low key, announced this on my server, but I don't think I had the chance to reveal to the fans at home. But I took Waluigi me all the way to level 8, double
Oh
uncapped.
wow,
Yeah, so it gave me 8 tracks, which
that's
was
awesome.
and that's for a me that I think it was like the tenth to last. So it's still, I mean, it came out,
Yeah, so
like
still probably got some buffing options
it's
left.
got some.
I love the non plus skill Misu investments, especially if they fit your inventory really well. It's fun to play with some different skills. It's fun to just go for double coin frenzy, whatever, or double coin frenzy and something else. Because I upgraded this one for like one track when I was going for top 10. And playing with the banana barrels was fun, but also a challenge. But I mean, it's just we're used to the same four skills all the time. It's cool to do something different.
Yeah, no, like again, it was a pure YOLO. Most of the time, I just follow the meta, but that was one where it's like this. It kind of helps my account, but it's Waluigi, man. I'm a big fan of the Wa. And then we also got gliders. We got Fair Flyer used 13 times, Home Field Glider 11, Star Spangled Glider 10, Gold Mario's Hat Balloon 8, and then we got a number of them used 7 times, including Polka Dot Manta, Mario's Hat Balloon, Gold Cloud Balloons, and Gold Flappy Wings. Which again, it's interesting. I keep feeling I'm looking at golden wings or whatever they are. So, but they're definitely the gold flappy wings. And then for carts, we have the Star Spangled Flyer used a whopping 15 times, especially for the New York and LA. That was a big popular one. Obviously being used a lot this tour. Blue Speeder 14 times, Blazing Eagle 13 times, Swift Talon 12. Cream B Dasher Mark II. We got a lot of B Dashers used this tour. So shout out to Sammy D. I know he absolutely loves the B Dashers. We got Cream 11, Red 10. We have the Sky Blue used 8 times. Those kind of highlight some of the B Dasher Mark IIs being used. Gold Eagle used 10 times. Black Jingle Bells 8. Some of these cleanup hitters on there. Yellow Taxi, Blue Bandwagon, Ice Dozer, Streetle, Cactbee, and Orange Turbo Yoshi. So there you go for all cup ranking. Anything you want to mention about that, Anselef?
No, it's not really surprised that some of these B Dasher Mark IIs are in those. Remember, those are also all city start items. They were the first all city start items in that, I think, second anniversary. Yeah, a red B Dasher Mark II is like a super underrated card. It has a lot of tracks, it has a lot of city tracks, but like again, that's not such a negative thing anymore. It's definitely one I would recommend people have a look at. And I haven't invested in it, but it kind of it keeps popping up in my analysis again. And I'm like, really, red B Dasher Mark II? I would definitely take a second look at that one. Other than that. No, not really. Like again, the Swift Talon was never really high in our rankings, but it has 50 tracks. It just like I think 23 of them are cities, so it never really got up there. But again, now that cities are not so less valuable than other tracks, like it's a very useful one going forward, and it has that great hitbox, super wide and not too long, same as the Blazing Eagle.
Yeah, man, for sure. Let's move forward. We already got announced that no surprise here. We're going to have the Peach versus Bowser tour following the Animal tour next tour. So, things are going as planned, I guess. So it's also helpful for you as you're looking at your accounts to know which items over this tour and the next 2 tours will be used the most. So huge shout out to Alberto who puts this together for us. But you'll be using Gold Charging Chuck 4 times based on, I think for him, he's seen every track. So you know it's going to be 4 compared to Spartacon, which is at least 4. He could be used even, 5 times depending if they give him another buff. But that's each one of these numbers represents how many times this driver, cart or glider will be used. Again, right now we're just talking about drivers, but which ones will be used over the next, this tour and the next 2 tours. So, 4 times for Spartacon and PD Piranha, and 3 times for Gold PD Piranha, 3 Yoshi Kangaroo. You got Santa Bowser, Luigi Knight, White Tanuki Mario, and then some Mii suits, including Yellow, PD Piranha, and Bronze. Going forward into carts for the next 3 tours, we have for usage for Blazing Eagle and the Gold Bullet Bull. Obviously, all four of those for Blazing Eagle is this tour, which is just kind of helpful to note. You do have three uses, number of carts used three times over this and the next two tours, including the Mumu Off-Roader. I think this is the Valentine Taxi.
Rose Taxi.
Rose Taxi. Tropical Truck. Some of these Tanuki carts, including regular and camo. You also have the Swift Talon, which again mostly used this tour. The Prana Pipes, which is going to be a sneaky one used in ranked a lot this year. And then the Gold Rambi Rider.
Which I forgot existed.
Yeah, man. It's always a pleasant surprise seeing it there. Reminded. We do have for gliders, 2 gliders used 4 times, including the green cat parafoil and the gold cloud balloons. A number of gliders used 3 times, including the Boom Masks, Lava Rocks, Icy's Mario Mustache, black calico toe beam balloons. You got the Luigi hat, the black cat parafoil, the spooky balloons, which could be used more than 3 times, could be used 4 times, as it's a brand new item, but we at least know it's at least 3. And then gold Mario hat and the Panini. So anything you want to add about
I think
ranked?
it's a good point you make with the spooky balloons, and also the gold Mario hat, which also came out. I think that was the last glider to come out, right? But yeah, at least 3 times. But there are also a lot of buff potential still. So if you were thinking about investing in either one of those, it might be a good time to pull the trigger.
Okay, we do have a comment from Toby, who says that Blazing Eagle has 6 for this tour and once in the other. So definitely worth looking into. But appreciate you mentioning that, Toby. We'll check it out later. But with that being said, let's move into ranked usage for the remaining tours of year 5. So again, huge shout out to Larry98. You can see a lot of this information there. But let's get into the drivers used the most in the remaining months of year 5. And of those, Toad Taurus.
So just sorry to interrupt you. So just to be clear, this is up to and including the next anniversary tour, or where does it end?
Yes. So I guess it's going to be 11 or 10 and a half months.
Okay.
So it's now until the anniversary.
Right. Okay. Just for our viewers to be clear.
Yep. No. And if I ever breeze through that too much, let me know. But again, from this perspective,
I actually didn't know.
Well, yeah, that's the point. Is we know it's going to be ranked every single tour until next anniversary. We've already kind of, unless Nintendo lets us know that things have changed. That's the assumption we're working off of. And Toad Tourist and Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer top the list with a whopping 27 times, which is insane. A big 6-point jump between them and the next driver used the most, which would be Larry Wintertime, used 21 times. You have both Toad Astronaut and Gold Me Suit, which is obviously the top Me Suit there, which dominated last year, which is, again, it had a phenomenal year, best driver in the game. Both of those drivers used 20 times. Gold Charging Chuck, arguably the top non-me driver in the game for year 5, used 19 times. King Mario, a surprising 18 times. Poochie, at least 18 times. Some of these drivers haven't seen all the tracks. Poochie's still got some left there. But he, along with PD Piranha and Spartacong, and also Santa Me, all have 18 times for the remaining of year 5. Again, some of these could see more. Spartacong and Poochie probably the highest possibilities of those. You have White Tanuki Mario, Yaleen, PD Piranha Me Suit, Yellow Me Suit, Wiggler Me Suit, all used 17 times over the remaining year of year 5. You have Wiggler 16 times, Luigi Knight 15, Morton 14, and Nabbit 13. Nabbit's kind of a little surprised there. I might have to look into that for my account. Anything you want to mention for drivers the rest of year 5 for ranked?
No, not really. I'm trying to look here, see which one of these are kind of newer and have more like buff, because some of these may be used more, like Spartacon, Toad Tourist still have some tracks left to see. But I think most of them are pretty. Morton Me, for example. I'm surprised Larry Me is not on here. Well,
Well, he could see some more action. I mean, maybe
that's
he's
true.
right on the
He gets
fringe.
the buffs.
He get some more buffs. But it looks like we have like 4 coin box drivers, right? Between Larry Wintertime, Gold Me, Gold Charging Chuck, and King Mario. You got a lot of Giant Banana in there. You even have some decent Boomerang. I will say you're not seeing too much Lucky Seven. Obviously, you can get some Lucky Seven from Light Blue, Shy Guy Explorer, and
Mhm.
Poochie, and Santa, and I guess Nabbit, and that's about it. So.
Love Santa.
I mean, it's a pretty good mix, though.
Yeah,
I'm glad that Nintendo's done that. It made
definitely.
it kind of spread out. Good. Let's move into carts. Number one cart used over the rest of year five.
And as we were saying,
The
yeah.
card of the tour, Blazing Eagle, used 22 times in ranked for the rest of year five between now and next September or whatever. We got the Swift Talon used 20 times. Jumbo Jetter 19, red Comet card, and the light blue, I think it's just blue Crawley card used 18 times. You have the Mumu Off-Roader, the silver Cupid's Arrow, and the Chain Chomp Chariot all used 17 times in ranked over the remaining year five. You do have Armored Rider and the Piranha Pipes used 16 times. The gold pipes, 15 at least. Definitely could get some more. Black Shield Speedster, at least 14. Red Off-Roader, 14. And you have some of these B-Dashers, including the Light Blue Sky and the Cream, both used 13 times and ranked over the rest of your five. You have this Strawberry Soft Swerve. Is this the silver cart? Silver flower cart?
Yep, still a flower card.
Yeah. 13 times, as well as also for the Pink Comet, the Gold Cupid's Arrow, and the Gold Shield Speedster. Now, some of these, like for instance, the last 3 I mentioned, relatively new, could definitely see more than 13, but probably not going to get up to that Blazing Eagle 22. That's going to be a hard number to match. Blazing Eagle's going to crush it this year. Anything you want to mention about carts?
Mm, nah.
Nah.
I'm good.
All right, let's get into gliders then. At the top of the list, we have the wonderful Garnet used 27 times over the rest of year five. We do have your Fuzzy Kite 23 times over the rest of year five. A couple of gliders used 22 times, including the 8-bit One-Up Mushroom, Yellow Hard Hat, and Wonderful Diamond. You do have the 8-bit Block Glider 21 times. And a couple gliders used 20 times, including Mario Hat Balloon, Calico Toe Beam Balloon, 8-bit Super Glider, the 8-bit Gold Glider, the Smiley Glider, Golden Glider, and Red Checkered Glider. Again, all those used 20 times. And then you got, what is it? 4 used 19 times, including the Tulip Corsage, the Gold Cloud Balloons, the Festive Holly, and the Gold Hard Hat Balloon. And then 3 gliders used 18 times, including the Icy Mario Mustache, Perry Panini, and the... What ribbon is this? Is this the... What is that ribbon? Bright Ribbon? I think it's Bright Ribbon. So, any surprises there for gliders? Intelev?
Not no. I mean, we know these gliders. We know what's up. I will say I just today invested in the Calico Toe Beam balloons,
Ooh.
which I think kind of flies under the radar. But it's like even just taking it to level 6 gave me like 10 upgrades.
That's
or something crazy on
That's great.
on Jarang Trek. So well, it was totally worth it. Yeah.
Yeah, I have mine at level 8. It's definitely coming clutch for sure. Bright ribbon. Thank you, Juan. Appreciate that, Juan Ortiz. All right, let's move into ACR. So obviously, these numbers are going to be substantially higher. We have 45 tracks every single tour. So these are going to be the items that will be in All Cup ranking the most over the remaining time of year 5 between now and the next anniversary. And without further ado, our number one driver in the game, Mr. Gold Me Racing Suit, 158 times, which is just absolutely insane. Breaks the mold. As you can see, it's got 28 more than Toad Astronaut with 130. And everyone else is kind of neck and neck with each other. So Gold Me, obviously, the ACR king of all kings. Yeah, we also have Yellow Me Racing Suit, which we've talked a lot about this tour, 129 times, which is pretty substantial there. Santa Mia, 126. Light Blue Shy Guy Explorer is following through as not just good in ranked, but also good in all cup ranking. You have the PD Piranha Me Racing suit 124 times in all cup ranking the rest of year 5. PD Piranha 120 times. The Silver Me Racing suit, which was, again, we felt like it was getting some shade there for a while, but it's going to be pretty strong this upcoming year with 119, tied with the Question Block Me Racing suit. 117 for Chef Rosalina and King Mario. 115 for our sweet tie-dye Daisy tie dress and Larry Me Racing suit, which certainly could go up. Right now it's 115, could get up to 120. We'll see. You have Luigi Knight, 114 is right there. We have Larry Wintertime, 112. White Tanuki Mario, 108. Gold Charging Chuck, 107. Toad Taurus, 105. Nabbit Me Racing Suit, 103. And Morton, 102. So definitely taking a second look at this Nabbit Me Racing Suit. Might be worth it for me here. Anything you want to mention about drivers for all cup ranking?
Gold Me Suit is a cheat code. No. Other than that, I mean, like if you are thinking about getting into the me meta, you can see here, especially for ACR, which ones are good to invest in. Take this as a guide. And as we've been saying, Yellow Me Suit is just kind of an all-around start. So it's been ranked a lot, as you saw. It's been ACR a lot, as you saw. Yeah, so I think that's not a whole lot else to say.
I mean, these are our best items, guys. Feel free to invest in them as you see, as you please. For carts, no surprise here. Blazing Eagle, a whopping 117 times. The Blue Crawly Cart, 111. And then you have a kind of a big drop here. 5-point drop here with Piranha Pipes, which have been kind of sneaky. We haven't talked, like it hasn't been super strong in the top 10, but it's really both strong and ranked also in all cup ranking. So definitely take a look at it if it helps your account. It's definitely a little different size, but decent size hitbox. It's definitely large. You have the Red Off-Roader 104 times, the Taylor Swift 103, the Swift Talon, tied with the Cact B, which kind of surprised because we felt like the Cact B got absolutely forgotten about in the game, but here it is. It's 103 times. It's decent there. Strawberry Soft Serve 100 times in all cup ranking the rest of year 5. Moon Off-Roader 98. The Cream B-Dasher Mark II 97 times. The Pink Comet at least 95 times. Again, a relatively newer item. The Sweet Ride 94 times, along with the Purple Dozer. The Pink B-Dasher Mark II used 92 times. The Gold Trickster, and we hadn't seen a lot of great gold items on this list, but Gold Trickster is the top gold cart being used in all cup ranking in the rest of year 5. Red Comet 91 times. Warrior Wagon used 90 times. Surprised the Armored Rider not here, but Warrior Wagon is 90 times. And then here's your favorite Red B-Dasher Mark II 88 times. And then the Gold Lunar Cruiser, again, one of the better gold items, 87 times in all cup ranking. And then Jumbo Jetter 85 and Gold Eagle. So again, not even bad for the Gold Eagle, which is seems to be the less popular of the triplets. What's your thoughts on carts for all cup ranking the rest of year 5?
Yeah, like I think it's interesting how many items that originally came out in this tour are so OP for like the year going forward, or the 10 months going forward. I mean, these are all carts we know. There's a couple of surprises in there, like the Pink B-Dasher Mark II, and the Cact B as well. The Purple Dozer especially, I think, is an interesting one, and has quite a few. It's quite useful for ranked. If you look at its ranked tracks upcoming in the next year or something as well, and I think it's one that really kind of flew under the radar. Because we had all these dozers, and then this was, I think, the last one, and then it didn't see like a ton of ranked usage or get like a huge amount of like crazy buffs, but the amount of rank track it has is actually, I'll tell you in a second. for the year
In addition
upcoming.
to that, I will say I do like looking at this list and also seeing which items are newer. So, like for
Yeah.
instance, both of these comets, both red and pink, they're 91 and 95 usage, but I can see both of them breaking 100.
Yeah, sure.
There's no surprise about that.
Exactly.
Compared to the Warrior Wagon, it's going to have 90. It's been around for forever. Jumbo Jetter, same thing. Could get up there pretty close to 100 as well. So again, just remember that these lists are going to be changing. We'll be updating them every single tour. Thanks again to Larry98 and all the work he does, and Alberto as well. Shout out to Alberto who just joined the Stud fam. Welcome, Alberto. Appreciate you supporting us in many different ways. But and then last but not least, this is the finale. These are the gliders used in All Cup ranking over the rest of year 5. At the top of the list, I like how Alberto put the red Mario hat just ahead of the Fuzzy Kite, even though they had the same number, because he could have made me eat some more crow there with the Fuzzy Kite there at the top of the list. But it is there. It's tied for first. Gotta love that. So both hats, both Mario and Luigi, used a decent amount of times. Mario 126, Luigi 123. Then you have the wonderful Garnet, which we already talked about it being one of the most popular and ranked. It's also being used a lot in All Cup ranking. Black Starshoot 120 times. The Fire Manta, which had a very, very sneaky slow burn 2023, it's used 119 times over the rest of year 5, alongside the Yellow Hard Hat. And the Smiley Glider. You do have the 8-bit 1-Up Mushroom 118 times. You have the, here's a surprising one, this White Wave Origami Glider, which had not really done well in the meta for the top 10. But here it is, 118 times in All Cup ranking.
Another All City Start glider, which is probably why it wasn't ranked.
That's right, man. Good. We have the Silver Candlelight Flight 117 times. Then we have a little drop. We have the Silver Luigi's Mustache 113, along with the 2023 glider. And then we have Festive Holly and the Secret Scroll 112 times. I think I'm trying to remember if that Secret Scroll has a different name, but it's not the original one. It's the recolor with the red.
That's the Secret Scroll.
Is it just Secret Scroll? Okay.
And then Ninja Scroll is the original
Ninja.
one.
There you go.
The green one is the Ninja Scroll, and this is the Secret Scroll.
Yeah. Tropical Balloons, 111 times. Absolutely love this glider. Alongside the Rainbow Fairflyer, I believe is what that is. 111 times for it. We got the Vanilla and Chocolate Balloons, 110. Chocolate Pretzel and Yoshi's Cookies, both 110 as well. Anything you want to mention about these gliders used in All Cup ranking?
I mean, I could use this opportunity to dunk on you some more with Fuzzy Kite.
I mean, you earned the dunkage, man.
Yeah, we were. I just this tour took Fireman to level 8 and quadruple capped it, based in part on these predictions and these slides. I had it level 7 for a really long time, and it's been super useful for me. And like you said, it's a slow burn. Firemen's are slow burn.
Yeah, you like that?
But it never had one of those tours where it was in 3 or 4 ranks, but it was just kind of always around, super useful one.
Yeah, you're not afraid of the Super Horn at all? Do you like the Super Horn skill?
There are worse skills. It's not as bad as Green Shell or Banana, I would say. It's a kind of neutral skill.
I don't think looking back, I don't think I actually have a glider, Super Horn glider at level 8. I don't think I've made.
I don't know all the Super Horn gliders off the top of my head, but there is some that are pretty popular, right?
Okay. I just don't. I'm actually thinking about it. Which ones? I don't think that I have any. There were some that had. I think the Silver Bells. I took to level 6 back in the day, when level 6 was the highest or whatever, and that was a really popular one. But not too many since. If I do have a level 8, I pulled it and not put tickets on. Not that people should stay away from it, but just an interesting little random thought.
The Wicked Wings. Do you have the Wicked Wings? That's the Super Horn one. That's an older one.
Yeah, not at level 8 though.
No, not level 8. Yeah, I guess so.
Just a random thought.
Toby Balloons is Super Horn.
Okay, all right. Yeah, you're right. That would be. I think that's it.
There you go.
Well, there you go, guys. And that concludes another episode of the Rundown. Welcome back, Angelo. I think just as we kind of wrap up the episode, this is obviously a city tour. Get some additional levels for your player level. These tracks are city tracks. We always kind of like to put that out there. And if you are going for the driver ticket you want to get rid of the tokens, make sure to check out the video that we had on the clearing out the token shop using auto clickers or speech commands, along with some of the shortcuts in the iPhone. Definitely going to help you score better getting rid of those tokens for week 1, week 2 of ranked. Definitely going to be rooting for you there, because these driver tickets, the cap tickets, most valuable ticket in the game, arguably. So again, Blazing Eagle is going to be the takeaway here. It's basically the card of the tour. But anything you want to add there, Anselm? Again, thanks for joining.
No, like I said, like this tour, I find it a disappointment, especially from an ACR perspective, because we only have 3 courses: New York, LA, and Vancouver. But at the same time, Vancouver is awesome, and it's nice to see the New York tracks back as well. So enjoy the rest of the tour, and then we got a couple of bangers coming up next. Animal Tour, Peach versus Bowser. They're going to be so nice. So I'm looking forward to those as well.
Yeah, enjoy the break while it lasts. But we're still having fun in the game. Thanks again to Larry98, to Alberto for getting this out on a Wednesday. Huge shout out to you guys. Absolutely love that. Thank you guys who have been hanging out in the chat. I see Sana, I see Pepper Rabbit, I see Brian Kirsten, I see Turtles. Hopefully you guys enjoy this tour, and glad we were able to kind of hang out on a Wednesday when there may not have been a lot of other content creators coming out with videos. So glad we got to hang out together. And until next time, may the frenzy luck be with you. See you guys. All right.